Okay, let's go.
Hello my friends, my name is Schmitt Wylde and welcome back to another video on the NES Black Boxes games. Now this is gonna be the last part of the video, of my video series, and I'm trying to do something different here. I'm using my cell phone to record this video. Let's see how that will turn out. So far I don't have any tripod, so I'm using my arm to do so. And hopefully it's not gonna get tiring. It already is. But yeah, this is gonna be the last video of my Black Box NES game series, where I'm gonna cover 10 more games of NES, starting from, let me see here, Pro Wrestling up until Wrecking Crew. And I was supposed to cover also Super Mario Brothers, but that will be... I already played the game on the channel. I already played both Super Mario Brothers 1, both versions of Super Mario Bros. 2 and Super Mario Bros. 3, all of them on the NES, and eventually I'll play them again on the Super Nintendo. So if you are interested to check my playthrough on that, there's probably gonna be a link on the description. There's gonna be a card showing up over there, and a link in the description down below. But yeah, that's just a short introduction to this video. I just wanted to point out that this video is the one that I pretty much sucked the most out of the games that I've played. And the reason for that is I just pick up the game and started to play it without even looking at the manual, or I didn't even look at how to play the game properly. So what you saw was pretty much my first contact with this game and trying to figure out how to play and what to do on the go. Of course, if I feel the need to come back to any of these titles, eventually I will do so, and out of these ones I imagine myself playing again Wrecking Crew to try to get a higher score and try to go as further as I can, along with Wild Gunman. Is it the name of the... I don't remember, but the Wild West one. Both of these games I can see myself playing again, eventually, but probably not anytime soon. Unless there's a Tester Bits challenge along the way, then maybe I'll give that a shot. But I hope you enjoy this video, and don't forget, leave a comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to see me play something specific, please let me know. Leave a comment on any of my videos suggesting a game for me to play, and I'll happily respond to you, and if I can, I'll do my best to play it for you. But again, thanks so much for your support, for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Have a good one, and as always, take care. Pro Wrestling. Let me tell you something. Well, let me tell you something, brother. This is no WWE 2K16 by any stretch of imagination. Honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. I believe those LJN WWF games on NES are better than this. I honestly don't know because I never played them particularly. All I know about those games is what I've seen on AVGN videos, so yeah, I don't have any concrete opinion on those games. What I can say, however, is if you're looking for a good wrestling game on a Nintendo console, look no further than the Super Nintendo for the WrestleMania arcade game. The one that Midway made with like the same technology as they did for Mortal Kombat. They have Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, I believe, Doink the Clown for some reason, and I think there was a few more. Brett the Hitman Hard, I think he's in that game as well. That one is very fun, although very limited, but it was fun nonetheless. On this game, however, I was just smashing buttons and hoping for the best. I didn't know what to do, so it's very confusing to play a wrestling game on a console that only has pretty much 2 action buttons on the controller. So I don't know what I was expecting here. It certainly wasn't this, so I don't think I would recommend this one for you guys. Slalom or Slalom. I honestly don't know how to pronounce this name, but it is is made by Rare. I just noticed that, and it is a skiing game, and a very difficult one at that. We do have 3 stages to choose from in the beginning. Each stage has, I think, 1 or 2 different layouts, but the gameplay is pretty much the same. You push forward on the D-pad to go faster, you push back on the D-pad, like down on the D-pad to kind of slow down a little bit. The image of the guy going forward and aiming his butt at you is priceless. I mean, it is a NES game that does that. I don't know what to say about that, but this game is very difficult one. For one reason, the main reason for me at least, is that it is a little bit fast, too fast I guess, and you need to have your reflexes on point, because during our way downhill we will race against other skiers, right? Those in pink uniforms, and sometimes they move pretty erratically, so it's hard for you to to know where they are going and what's the best course of action to do, you know. So every now and then you will end up hitting them, and when you do, you will lose momentum. And this game is pretty much like Super Hang-On, where you have a set time to complete the race. Let's put it in quotes there, because I don't think it's actually a race. You just need to reach the finish line within the time limit. And if you keep losing momentum, you're not going to be able to do that, as you will see on the footage that I recorded. The third stage was pretty difficult, because not only we had other skiers to worry about, there were some other obstacles on the track that keep moving from left to right, and those were pretty much impossible for me to avoid willingly. If I did, it was 100% luck based. So this game is very difficult to play, but I imagine that with a little bit of practice and determination, I guess, I think it could be a fun game to play with your friends, to see who goes further into the game, you know, who has the best score or whatever. But other than that, I don't... another one, sadly, that I don't think I would ever play it again, unless I have a really strong reason to do so. Soccer. You can't have a more straightforward name than this. It's just like the Atari games, where it's all soccer, baseball, whatever. And this is pretty much it. It's just soccer. But instead to have 11 players on each side, here we only have 5. Me being a Brazilian, you might have guessed that soccer is the national sport here in Brazil. So we do care a lot about the sport. And honestly, this one is not one that I would recommend. Maybe it's the difficulty level that I chose, maybe it's the game itself, I really don't know. But I found it to be pretty easy, and the key word here, I know this is an NES game, an early NES game, and I can't expect much of this, but it is archaic, you can't deny that. And I know that Atari only has a controller that has a stick with one button, and they had games like this, but even then, using an NES controller and playing a soccer game with only 2 buttons is not nice. It's not something that I would ever want to do that again, you know. So This is another case that if you want to play a good soccer game on a Nintendo console, if you want a more a simulation, more realistic aspect of it, that you can choose the International Superstar Soccer Deluxe. But if you want an arcade experience with power-ups and whatever, there's Fever Pitch, I guess, or Super Head-On. It has two names, I guess. Both of these games are those two are the best soccer games on any Nintendo console, to my knowledge, that I've played. And but other than that, this one is, I guess, for what it is, it does okay. There's really no point into bashing it, because again, it's an NES game and it is what it is. And here we have the second game compatible with Rob the Robot. Stack Up or Robot Block, whatever you want to call it. And unfortunately, this is one of the few games that honestly I can't show you on the footage. All I can show you is what I am gonna show you, because this is actually a game to play with Rob, and it's more like a real thing you can't emulate, because like you can see on the screen, the purpose of this game is to match what is on the screen by commanding Rob the Robot to do whatever you want to do. So it's something that you need to look at him instead of look at the TV to see whoever won. There are a few types of modes. There's this bingo one where you have to complete the rows of what you want him to do. Like if you want him to move his arms up, then you need to complete the row that says up. If you want to open his arms, then you need to complete the row that says open, and so on and so on. And there is another type of game that I found it pretty interesting, where you have the image that you need to imitate, and you need to program Rob to do a series of movements without you knowing that how he's gonna do. You need to understand how he works, and pretty much program him to do, for example, 6-7 types of moves, and that in the end will result in the image that you're gonna see on TV. So yeah, unfortunately this one I cannot show you the real game, but I imagine for those who have Rob the Robot available to play, honestly it's still pretty crap. Rob the Robot is just a gimmick. It's not a real thing. It's not a real good thing, so let's just all forget about it. Tennis. Another pretty straightforward name for a pretty straightforward game. Too bad I suck at this. I never in my life, in my 33 years of life, I've never played a tennis game on a video game. Believe it or not. I know Nintendo has some pretty good ones that right now I kind of forgot the name, but they have Mario and whatever. And I know that supposedly they are pretty good, but I never played it. I kind of know the rules of tennis. I kind of know how it is played, but this was my real contact with the sport in video game fashion. But now that I'm talking about it, I remember that I played tennis as a minigame on GTA 5. So if that counts, then I played that. And let me tell you, that one is way easier to play than this one. I found it to be pretty difficult to line up your shot here. When you are serving, it's pretty easy because the AI opponent is pretty dumb to hit the ball back, pretty much like I am. So I ended up scoring a lot of points from serving, which is called Ace, I think, right? I don't know. But yeah, I don't really like it that much, but it is tennis, so it is what you expect, I guess. Now, for the soccer game, I complained about the lack of buttons. That was pretty much one thing that made the game pretty bad for me. On this one, I don't think that's a problem, because all you need to do is movement your character on the field and just pretty much hit the A button to hit the ball, and that's pretty much it. I didn't notice anything special like doing effects on the ball or doing fancy stuff. So this is a game that is viable to play on the NES, but I wouldn't recommend it. Urban Champion. Of all the games that I'm covering on this video, I think this is what was one of the most weird ones. One that I was not expecting it to be like this at all. And it took me a while to understand how to play it, but honestly, it's okay, I guess. From what I understand, again, I didn't look anything about any of these games prior to playing them, so I was trying to figure it out on the go. So this is pretty much a brawler game where you need to punch the AI opponent and see who wins, I guess. And the first game that I played, I didn't understand how to punch the guy. I mean, I was only pressing the A button, and the A button does a pretty weak punch. You can either punch the enemy or the adversary, whatever, on the face or on the stomach. And the A button is a standard punch, it doesn't do anything. But I noticed that sometimes I was getting punched and I was being knocked back, like I was falling on the ground, and I never managed to do that to my opponent. Only on the second time that I played, that I noticed that the B button is a strong attack, and each time you landed the hit, you would make the opponent fall down. And the objective of the game is to push the opponent all the way to the right of the screen. There is 3 screens that you need to do this, and on the third one there is a pothole, and if you fall down, you lose, and if you make the opponent fall down, you win. Pretty straightforward. I found it funny that sometimes the police show up, like they are patrolling the streets, and both characters, like, they are trying to look like they're not doing anything, you know, to do not attract attention from the police. So I found it pretty funny, to be honest. But even though this game is not bad, I mean, I really found it really interesting, the idea. But honestly, I don't think I would play it again because, Volleyball. And I don't want to be harsh or anything, but I really hate this game, and I hope to never see it in front of me ever again. Does it have something to do that I didn't understand how to play the game? Well, I do know the rules of volley, don't get me wrong. I just don't see it being a sport where you play on a video game, especially on the NES. So yeah, I got my ass handed to me on this one, and I hated it, and I wish I never see this game in front of me ever again. So it is what it is. By the way, I do not recommend it. Wild Gunman is another game that uses the light gun to play, and this, out of the games that I cover in this video, this is one of that I kind of see myself playing this again eventually. Not because it is challenging, not because it is a good game, but just as curious to see how far can I go. I've said it before that playing light gun games on an emulator using a mouse is the easiest thing ever. You know, you always hit where you have to hit. You have the reflex of just hitting the mouse button instead of actually pulling the trigger of the light gun. And we all know that the light gun is pretty unreliable in most games, so sometimes you are aiming dead center and you shoot and the game does not register, so it has the possibility of pissing you off, but not on an emulator. Here is 100% guarantee that you will hit the target as long as you aim correctly. And this game is nothing more than a quick draw game in the Wild West. From what I've played, from the 4 minutes that I've played this game, you just need to be faster than the enemies that are on the screen. They have their time limit that if you take longer to shoot him, you will die, but again, using the mouse, my overall time was pretty much 0.33 seconds, so I'm curious to see how far I can go in this game, and if there is an ending, and if there is a limit of how much points you can get. Perhaps eventually I'll do a video about it, but perhaps I won't. I don't know. But regardless, this is a fun game. But out of the black boxes games that uses the light gun, Gumshoe and Duck Hunt are the best ones, in my opinion. Wrecking Crew. I believe there is a movie about this game. Wreck-It Ralph, right? But in the movie, the character is named Ralph, but here he's named Mario, because most generic protagonist back in the day for Nintendo was named Mario. I think this is the best game that I'm covering on this video, apart from Super Mario Brothers, obviously, because this is really a arcade game. It has that aesthetic, that feel of an arcade game, you know. And I did not play that much of the game yet, because I'm just doing a quick review for this video. But eventually I really wanna give some love to this game, some proper attention, you know, because I feel that it really deserves it. And I don't have much more to say about this game, because it is what you're seeing on the screen. All you gotta do is destroy pretty much everything on the screen, avoiding the enemies, and sometimes being careful not to destroy something too early, maybe. I believe there are parts later in the game where you need to be pretty smart about what you destroy, otherwise you won't be able to access certain areas of the level, maybe. So I can see that happening, and that's a nice thing, because it makes you think instead of recklessly destroying everything you see, you know. So you need to think a little bit before you act. And yeah, overall this game is pretty fun, and this one is one of the few of this video that I actually recommend everyone to play. And I believe this is available on Nintendo Switch online. I could be wrong, but if it isn't, just try to find an emulator somewhere and have a little bit of fun. You won't regret it.